Hello, welcome to a work together. For this work together, there's a lot of tedious work, so I did do some prep work so you can kind of see what we're going to make. And this is it. It is a set of slider boxes turned into drawers, and what I'm going to use them for is cards. I'm going to put little cards in there and make this a gift set. I'm making 2 more of these sliders, and then we're going to put them together and decorate the whole thing. Okay? So, to make these, I'm using my envelope punch board, pattern paper, craft cardstock, and adhesive, and that's about it. Now, I did try making these boxes without using the punch board, but the bottom isn't, they're not quite as sturdy because there's not a fold over, and you could make it have a fold over, I guess, if you wanted to, but to me, it just seemed easier to do this. It was a lot of work to get the measurements the right way. It was a lot of trial and error because I don't quite get the math for how this figures it out, but once I got it, then it was fine and it's just easier. So we're going to go ahead and use it we're going to have 5 drawers on our box. So to do that, you're going to need 5 pieces of paper that are cut to 7.5 by 7.5. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to score this one time at 2.5. And then we're going to move it to 3 3/4 without turning it. And we're going to score it again. Okay. Then we're going to turn it 180 all the way around so that your score marks now are on this corner. Okay. And we're going to do the exact same thing. 2.5. And 3 3/4. Just like that. So now this is what your board your paper looks like, okay? Now you're going to turn it so that one of the score marks is at the top, and you're going to line it up. Line up your notch with the top score mark, and what should happen is it should also line up down here with where your little notch is. Okay. It's most important that it lines up down here. So if it doesn't line up on this line, just line it up down here. Then you're going to slide it over and you're going to line it up right there with that little notch. Okay. Don't worry, I'm going to show you that again. We're going to turn it around again. Another 180. We're going to line it up down here so that this is lined up just like this. Okay, right here is my score. I'm going to line it up and then score. Then I'm going to slide it down and line it up right here and score. And don't forget to punch. And then when you're all done, this is what it will look like. Okay, so let's do one more. And you're going to do 5 of them if you want to make yours exactly like mine. I'm just doing 2 because because this part is kind of tedious after a while, so I pre-made some of them. Okay, so I made my first score mark at 2.5, and then I'm sliding it to 3 3/4, and I make another one. And then I'm going to turn it 180 so that now my score marks that I just made and my little bumps are they're down here at the bottom, okay? And I'm going to score it at 1/2 inch. And punch, and then 3 3/4. Now if you want a little bit of a deeper drawer, extend this mark right here. Score it over just a little bit further, and then you'll have a little bit of a deeper drawer. This one gives us about 7/8 of an inch. This here comes to 7/8 of an inch when we're all said and done. So for this, that's a good size. Okay, then I'm going to put them in here again. I turn it so that my score marks are up here. I'm going to line up my score marks with that and punch. And then I'm going to drag it down just a little bit, line it up here, and punch. Then I'm going to turn it 180 again, and I'm going to line it up with the bottom again. I know there are a lot of people making these, and I know there's a lot of ways to make slider boxes with your punch board. This is how I did it to get the size that I wanted. Okay, so that's what we have now. Alright, now we're just going to put this up for a little bit. We're not quite done with it. We have one more thing to do with them. So we're just going to set it out of the way. And then we're going to get our scissors. And I like to do this in a group because it makes it one less step that you have to do. We're going to remove... We're not going to remove it, I'm sorry. We're just going to cut up. This little flap is going to cut up to the score mark there. So I'm cutting on this score mark just up to the next score mark. And then I'm going to turn it 180 again. And I'm going to cut that side and this side. Okay? And when I have one, I'll show you what I mean. So essentially those little flaps are going to be able to fold up just like that. Okay? Now the next step is we're just going to do our folds, and then I like to, after I do my folds, if there's any of this little flap hanging over, I'm going to cut it off because I don't want it to interfere with the way that my drawer closes. Okay, we're just going to go around and do all of our folds up. There we go. And then this one, and I'm just going to look and see, and I have a little bit of overhang there, so I want to cut that off. Okay. And then make sure you crease your little tabs. It'll make it easier. Okay. Now the next step is a little bit more complicated. What you're going to do is take your triangle, fold it up, and then you're going to put your fingers into that crease that's already there, and you're just going to fold it one more time. You don't have a score mark there, but you're just going to fold that up, and that's going to give you your double layered side there. Okay, let's do it with this one then. So you fold this up, and then I kind of put my fingers, I kind of push my fingernails into that crease so I make sure that it stays nice and tight. And then, there you go. One more, or again on this side, and just really press it in there like that. And then make sure that you burnish your score really well. Okay? Next, you take your adhesive, and this is how I do it. I'm going to put a line of adhesive there, and then I'm going to put up on the pyramid here. So one line here, and one line up on the pyramid. And if you want to add more adhesive than that, you're more than welcome to. I just like to use as little as possible sometimes. And for a project like this, where everything's going to be attached and hidden anyways, it doesn't really matter. Alright, the next step is to fold in those little tabs, line up your sides just like that. Kind of press them in to the adhesive that's on there. Just go around and line up all your sides. Make sure that these little tabs are inside. There we go. And once they're all done, that's what you have. And then the next part is easy. You just fold all of your folds in and press down your adhesive. And then I like to go around the edge just one more time for a good measure with my bone folder here, and make sure everything's adhered down right. And then the last thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my scoreboard. I'm going to put this in here like this. Well, you can't really see, but I'm just sliding it underneath that little mark and kind of centering it. And then I'm going to press, and that's what happens. You get that little notch. Okay? Alright, so let's put together our next one then. First things first, we have to do all of our folds again. And then I'm just going to go ahead and do mine right now. Okay. And then this one here, I'll fold it up. I'll fold it up. And then I'm pressing my fingernails right into the edge there. And then folding it over. Okay. Fold it up. Stick those up, just like so. And then again, I'm just gonna press those together like that. And last side, fold it up, fold it down, and then press them together. And I can see right here I have a good amount hanging off there. So I'm going to go ahead and just snip it off. All it means is that I just didn't cut exactly right. So there we go. Alright, now we open it all back up, and we're going to go ahead and put down our adhesive there, 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 and there. Okay. Then we're going to, you could put together a bunch of these while you're watching a movie or something. It's pretty easy once you get the hang of it, and if you just do it in steps, do all the scoring first, and then all the cutting, and then all the folding, and put them together, it would be pretty easy to knock out a whole bunch of these if you wanted to make a whole bunch. Okay, I'm folding down my sides. I like to fold down the long sides first, even though it really doesn't matter which ones you do, because they don't overlap on the inside. And then I'm pressing my adhesive in there good. Then I'm going to grab my scoreboard. Just going to slide that right underneath. Punch it, and there we go. Now we're done with our punch board. We have all the punching done. Okay. The next step is we're going to make the cover for them. So to do that, you have one piece of paper that is cut to 4 3/4 by 8 3/4. Now what that is it's cut to the length of this. so that it's the same length of this. And then I just measured all the way around it, okay? Then what you're going to do is you're going to score it, but it's a little bit complicated to score because you don't want it to wrap directly around the box too tight. So how I do mine is I put it in my scoreboard. I make my first score mark at 7/8 because that's the size of our side, okay? Then I put my bottom on there, and I just kind of, you're going to have to move it around a little bit. I just slid my paper over a little bit so that it came to the next available score mark, and I scored it just on the outside of the box. So I can't really give you an exact measurement because it really depends on how your box came together. So you have to use your box to make this fit perfectly, okay? And then you're going to do that for all of them. I just went ahead and when I got one done, then I layered two together, and I just went over the score marks, which gave me light little score marks on these, okay? So I can't really give you the score marks, but you can kind of, you know, you can figure it out really easy. All right, then the next step is to set these folds. And just like that, okay? Then we're going to put adhesive on the end of one side, on one of the 7/8, then we're going to flip it over, and on the other side, you're going to apply the adhesive to the end of that side, okay? And you'll see why that you do that in a minute. Then you stick your box into it, and you wrap the paper around it, because then it will help it to not pull so tight. And don't make it really tight either. You want it to loosely wrap around, because if you don't let it loose, then it won't slide in and out easily, okay? And then the final step is to apply some adhesive to the bottom side of your drawer, okay? Then, whoops, I gotta take all these out, sorry. Take your box and line them up. You want them to line up perfectly, because if they don't, then when you go to decorate them, it won't look as good. Okay? Alrighty. Then, perfect. Alright, and then we're just going to do our last one here. Again, we're going to apply adhesive to this end, and then we're going to flip it over and apply it on the other side. Then we're going to take a drawer, bring it up, making sure that the part that you put the adhesive on the top is underneath, and then so that the adhesive sides come together. And there we have another one. Okay. Once you have that done, then you're just going to squish it and apply adhesive around your box. Just like that. And you'll notice that it does not lay flat, and that's because it's not perfectly squared, because you wanted it to wrap around the box. Okay, so we're just going to line those up again, just like so. And now we're going to put the drawers back in. And you'll see as you're putting the drawers in, it's getting sturdier and sturdier. And if one drawer doesn't fit because we made them based on drawers, just move it around and try it in the next side up. So now that's what we have here. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we want to make this look like one unit. So we're going to measure here and we're going to put a panel over this. Now you could do this with just pattern paper. You could do it with chipboard to help it be a little bit sturdier. You could do it with any number of things, really. You could just do it with the cardstock if you just wanted the cardstock to be there. Okay, so we're just going to measure this. We're going to take this measurement here, and mine is about 4.5 by 4 3/4. Now I don't want to, I'm gonna, maybe I do want to, 4.5 by, you know what, I'm just gonna go ahead and use cardstock. Okay, so I'm gonna cut this down to 4.5. And I'm going to do that twice because we have one, we need one for each side. 4.5. Okay. And then I'm going to put this in here one more time and I'm going to make this 4 3/4. That doesn't seem, oh, there we go. Okay. So that's going to go just like that, and then it kind of makes it look like it's one piece, and it will also help to hold the drawers together. This is one of those times when a little more adhesive might pay, so I'm going to go ahead and use a bunch. Normally I'm kind of stingy with my adhesive, or at least I try to be. It's my least favorite purchase. Okay. And then is that the right one? And what's fun about this is you could really use it for a lot of different things. If you wanted to set it on your desk and use it to hold things that way, you could do that. If you wanted to add more to it, you could do that. You could put photos in it. You could put little knickknacks, little office supplies in it. There's a lot that you could do to it. Also, you could wrap around the back so that this was covered too. And then that would ensure that your drawers didn't go back too far. I'm not real worried about that part of it. But, so for now, I'm just going to leave it. If I decide that I want to cover it, then I will. Anyway, so this is essentially the base, and then you could turn this into whatever you wanted. You could do another set of 3 or a set of 4 along this side just to make it a little bit different. But since mine are just going to be for cards anyways, I'm really not, I don't need a whole lot of space. One thing I might do is I might put a little box over here that would hold pens. And then on this side I could put another, like a full-size one that could hold the notebook or whatever. You could do, I mean, you could turn this into anything. For now, I'm going to be good with this. I might put a little pen holder right here so that you can write on the cards. But I'm going to make cards to put inside here as well to turn this into a little gift. Okay, so I hope you like it. I hope you make one. And if you have any questions, let me know.